even Dark World. Dark World was almost complete, once you pick up 3 of them.
And we're doing it again with the Traptrix. Beware of Traptrix structure deck. A popular one with players who are coming over to the physical card game for the first time from Master Duel. Master Duel, it's always had this really big Traptrix following. So the structure deck here and how easy you could put the deck together like that has brought a lot of people into the tournament scene, and it's great to see them here.
Yes, and speaking of the structure deck, I love the content in this structure deck. A lot of powerful cards that, whether you be playing Traptrix or not, there's a lot of things for people to pick up. Like evenly matches are in there.
Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster. It's a really good structure deck for beginners as well, because you're going to get powerful cards that you're going to use for your entire Yu-Gi-Oh life, and you're going to learn a bunch of fundamentals as well. Trap decks are great at teaching you the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's not always about throwing full combo,
But with Traptrix in particular, you can do that too. So in this case, you get kind of a dose of both as well. I think this is a really good deck to start with if you're looking to begin your own TCG journey.
It seems like we are going to kick it off into Game 1.
Yeah, we're going to see the Traptrix deck right here, as that is Jose's deck of choice for this event. And he's playing against Adventurer's Sprite, which is the winning deck, in fact, both finals decks from the previous YCS.
Yes.
Lima just a couple weeks ago.
The Adventure Sprite deck, from what I know, can get really aggressive. I mean, in fact, after the FNL list recently, a lot of people might have stopped playing Sprite, but Sprite has made its comeback and become more aggressive than ever.
Yeah, Sprite's very good, and you can play it in a lot of different ways. And Jonathan is starting it off with Nimble Angler, Special Summon, Sprite Jet.
That is a red.
Is that a red?
That's a red.
It is a red. It's a foil red.
Well,
that would make it from the OTS pack, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Sprint?
Yeah, fooled me. Fooled me for a second. Oh yeah, the Super Sprite, it's got to be Jet.
And now we're seeing the Sprite Sprint summoned out onto the field, and we're going to send another Angler into the graveyard.
All right.
And the Angler is being hit with Ash Blossom. 2 cards face down, and that'll do it for Jonathan. Very quick turn.
That's a big cutoff. That's 2 monsters that was not able to come out of the deck.
And they just stay in there. Although I guess the Nimble Beaver isn't that bad of a draw.
Here we go.
We're going to see Jose now take his turn.
Good. Yep.
So 2 cards face down. Sprite not really known for playing a huge number of trap cards. They do play Sprite Smashers.
That's a scary one.
It is a scary one. Although it would lead to getting rid of that.
That'll phase into an evenly match. I mentioned this earlier about how we have to be aware of the very first turn. Are you going to commit into those cards on the field? Felt like a heavy storm moment right there.
Yep. And we're leaving the Sprite Sprint around. Traptrix Dionia is the normal summon. That's immediately sent away to Link Summon Sarah.
Sarah's very powerful. Once Sarah gets all of her effects going, that's going to be a lot of different things.
And he's got Parallel Exceed. If you Link Summon, you can special summon Parallel Exceed with the zone your Link monster points to, and then when it's summoned, it can summon another copy of itself.
Both of these are now level 4, and that's what makes it so amazing here. I wonder which monster he's going to go for. Is it going to be the Rafflesia, or are we going to see something else that's different?
It is Rafflesia. Rafflesia can copy trap holes, the effects of trap holes, rather.
Oh,
that's Hyolutia face down, and then pitches Gravedigger's Trap Hole to activate it the turn it's set. Special summoning as a monster, and that'll also trigger Traptrix Sarah, special summon a different Traptrix than all the rest on the field.
Now, if he can get one that would activate, that's going to get the other effect of Sarah.
And that'll get you a Trap Hole. Or a hole, rather.
Or a whole trap card. Making a bit of a decision. Oh.
Looks like Pudica.
Pudica is going to banish the Sprint.
Yeah, during the next standby phase.
And the next standby phase, you get to choose a monster to special summon back. It doesn't necessarily have to be that Sprint.
You can choose, so you better make sure that you don't forget.
Yes, now that it's been mentioned, all right?
Hang on, sorry.
It's a little different from like a Bestial or a Dragoon.
Yes.
Where once it's activated, you will special summon. You have to make sure that you do it.
And we get a Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare.
The classic from the old Hat format.
I love that card. That card providing monster effect negation on the turn that monster is special summon is really, really effective.
It seems like a really strong start here.
I mean, I think Jonathan's down to 1 or 2 cards in his hand.
I think it should be...
Into redoer.
Oh, and a Time Thief.
Time Thief Redoer is just a really difficult card to deal with, especially when it's got that trap beneath it. So the effect of Redoer is going to be able to steal a card from the top of the opponent's deck. Lots of spells in Sprite.
And
you see one of them
there
right
it is.
there. Is that Draco back?
I
saw
couldn't
it for a
see
flash. I think it was an adventurer type card.
It's going to provide a draw too as well. Well, not draw 2, but a draw as well.
You're going to get 2 cards. One of them is just going to be in the form of your opponent's card going away. It was Draco back.
That was a very quick game 1.
And that's such an incredible hit off of Time Thief Redoer because it reveals that your opponent is playing the adventurer cards, even though you didn't see the right in the first game. That was just a really tough one.
I think it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now the siding pattern can completely change because you know there are adventure cards in there.
That's a real rough beat on that one.
I mean, players try to conceal as much information as possible, right?
So there's an argument that as soon as you see your draw, you concede so that your opponent doesn't see what the redoer is.
Mm-hmm.
And given the fact that he conceded right after, that's probably what the optimal play would have been there.
Yeah.
It's weird talking about that, what's the best way to lose?
Mm-hmm.
It's without giving your opponent any information.
That's correct. I mean, the siding pattern is such a huge deal, especially because you have to win 2 games after all, and you're likely going to play into at least 1 game. Well, you're guaranteed to play at least into the game 2, and game 3. Well, that's where both players have their sides ready for each other. It's going to be a difficult choice for these players to make here. Now, that's where some people choose to decide to go second. Hopefully the other player sides into a bunch of going second cards, but you make them go first, so that there's a lot of cards that they can't actually use effectively on that first turn.
I don't know that you can play that game with Traptrix, though.
That is
true. If you let them play all their stuff, you're going to have a bad time.
Well, maybe we'll have an evenly match once again.
Also true. The other interesting thing is showing that Redoer probably has them thinking like, oh God, really? I got to deal with this as well?
Mm-hmm.
Like Redoer is just a lot of people just don't know how to deal with that card, especially once it gets a trap card beneath it. It's such a unique effect.
So you activate the effect of Time Thief Redoer, and you get to...
So it does nothing at first.
Yeah, it does nothing at first
cost.
because exactly, there's no cost. Based off of what it sends detaches for the effect, you either get, either put a card, or not either, but you get to do all of them if you send all 3.
Yep. So when it resolves, you detach up to 1 card each of a monster, a spell, or a trap beneath it. And the effects it has depends on which ones you picked.
Yes. Spell card, you get to draw a card. Trap card, you get to put 1 card back to the top of the deck, which is going to ruin the next draw phase if they don't get to shuffle. And also protect himself.
Yep, the monster banishes it until the end phase. So there's like a period of time when Redoer comes back before it has a chance to get another card that is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But not that easy to take advantage of it.
Now the players have completed their siding, and we're going to move on into game 2.
Now, I'd assume that Jonathan is going first here, but anything can happen.
Having an open game state before the Traptrix set up every single spell and trap in the back, it's a very big deal.
Yeah, one of the things that made Traptrix so popular is like in best of 1, you don't get a game 2 or 3 again.
Yeah.
So when they go first and just trap hole you out of the game, you're like, well, that happened. And then you go and you put Lightning Storm in your main deck.
And I believe the first card activated in the main phase is Rite of Eremisier, summoning out the Adventure token. And it seems like he doesn't have the Fateful Adventure in the hand, so we're going to see it placed onto the field.
So we're getting the maximum value out of this one, it seems. Unless he's drawn Draco back.
Normal summon Beaver.
Normal summon out Beaver.
I'll activate Faithful Adventure.
Yep, Faithful Adventure.
Add the Eclipse spell.
That's fine.
Now note that the normal summon Beaver will not activate the effect cannot activate the effect because we played Rite of Eremisier. That's going to restrict normal summon monster effects.
Correct. In many ways, it's it's normal summon Alistair without normal summoning.
Yes.
Think about it. Because they both end in a Mechaba type monster.
Now, Ash Blossom has been activated, preventing the add, I believe, of the Griffin. We got the Draco back, but the secondary add from Faithful Adventure did not occur here.
Now, I'm not bidding Bamboozled this time. That is a Sprite Jet.
That is a jet. That is a jet this time.
It's going to get Sprite starter.
how is he going to follow this one up? I mean, he's got quite a few monsters here. We're going to see an Exceed summon. Built the overlay network, and it's going to be a gigantic sprite.
Interesting that he's putting it in that zone. I wonder.
Yeah, what sort of advantage would you get to put that far?
It depends.
Ooh, Nightmare Corruptor. I don't know if this is the best choice for this particular match, but it's just gonna use it as a material.
Gonna make Sprite Sprint. Okay, we'll send the Ibly over to the other team.
And that's going to turn off cards like Infinite Impermanence, potentially. Well, Nibiru's not even in the question here because we're locked into level 2 Link to rank 2. And we're going to
send the Angler to get the 2 Beavers. There they are.
At least we're pretty safe for the most part from the evenly match.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no Griffin negation here. The Wandering Griffin Rider is not here. I personally love Nightmare Corruptor Ibly.
Yeah, a very important character in that storyline as well.
Oh, yes. Mannequin Cat has been Ixie summoned.
Mannequin Cat is so scary.
What options do we have for this one?
So right now it's Dark and Cyber monsters, right?
Yes. But is he going to use the effect of the Mannequin Cat? Or can he
Not yet.
use it? Because he's locked into level 2s, so
yeah.
There's nothing really much you can summon back. It does give you a follow-up on the opposing turn, but... Okay, now we're going to see blue into Carrot. Lots of protection from spells and trap. I think that is still the correct call. I mean, you're going to be dealing with a lot of trap cards now, and 2 cards set into the back row. I think he just top decked it evenly.
Matched.
Really poor timing.
Deck and evenly matched. Well, you're going to dig a little bit deeper into the deck with Pot of Prosperity, assuming that if it's allowed.
Probably go for 6. Definitely some things need to be answered onto the current field right now.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to be stingy here, but he's going 3 only. We'll see. Rolling Lockbird ain't it. Exceed probably not.
DNA? I mean, that's the only
playable
game.
card. But before we get to any of the Traptrix plays, you still got to clear that Ibly out.
Now, does he run the Lingaribo? Lingaribo would provide him with a pretty good negation towards traps as well.
Goes Pudica.
Pudica effect to add the Trap Trip Garden.
Traptrix Garden.
Okay, I am going to respond. I'll do...
And...
Now that one card on the right-hand side, that's his hand, is it not?
I think so. Oh, enemy controller. Tributing the Sprite Blue, taking control of the Pudica.
So one thing I would recommend when you're playing is to not do this.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your hand away from the actual field.
Yes. Now this turn, I don't believe it's over yet, but that Ibly is really locking out that extra deck.
We'll see if Trap Tantalizing Tune can get anything going here. It'll probably just eat a Carrot effect.
I mean, you're only locked into Link summoning, so Sarah could potentially still come out. But then the Paralytic Season hand is definitely going to be stuck.
Yeah, and you still got to get rid of the Corruptor first. I guess he could, like, well, he's got to get the Carrot out of the way, and then he can run the Ibly into something.
You're going to see the Nightmare Corruptor Ibly attack into... Was it the Mannequin Cat?
Yeah, attacked into Mannequin Cat.
That's quite a bit of damage.
It's 2,000.
2,000.
But the field has opened up, and there is the evenly match.
I will use Carrot.
That's good. That's going to force out the Sprite Carrot.
Does he have another one?
Does he have to pay the cost?
Yeah, they got a tribute. Tributes Mannequin Cat, keeping Sprint on the field. I wonder if that means the other card is the double cross, because he has to put a monster in the zone Sprint points to.
That's true. Although I would have liked to see...
It's not, it's Twin Twister.
That's fine.
And then effective Draco back? Limited.
Then Draco back is going to spring back and
What a
equip the
great
adventure
cost.
token. Love me some Draco back.
That is some good card economy.
Yeah, I think that's actually the best adventurer card. Is Draco back.
That's right.
Like, that's what actually beats you in a lot of these games.
It is
Having
true.
stuff bounced away, coming back constantly.
I mean, it's super generic when it comes to like what the card is able to hit.
And it's done it again.
This is another very quick game.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that was a really tough one. Jonathan played that very well. That's a very difficult field to approach. And I think the only thing that Jose maybe could have done there was try to bait out the carrot first with something. And I'm not certain what that something was going to be because you wanted that evenly matched resolve.
Yeah, that should have been priority number 1 on getting that to resolve.
And the problem, I guess the only other thing he had was the field spell, right? And that's a tough thing to bait with because your opponent can just leave it. Like, is that even worth hitting?
Maybe.
The draw 2, I think maybe you would have negated so that they don't get, double evenly or evenly plus something else.
I think that was just a really tough spot,
Yeah,
especially when
it's
there was
tough.
that many ways to disrupt you. And the carrot, I think we're going to see carrot probably next game as well.
Yep,
It's such a good card, this format.
it really is. And I did like the way that Jonathan arranged his monsters, keeping that zone open with the sprint to threaten the double cross.
Yes.
Even though it ended
Yes,
up being
yes.
twin twister. It's double something else if it's double twisters, not double cross.
Well, now I guess we're going to see what's going to change back over here with, I believe, Jose having the choice to choose to go first or second. Evenly matched did not serve the purpose this game.
Did not. It did not.
I'm hoping to see a lot more trap holes activated.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. Going first in Game 3 is a huge advantage if you're the Traptrix player. The disadvantage that Traptrix has over other trap decks like Labyrinth is that the trap holes generally, most of the time, have to be used when your opponent summons a monster.
That's right,
or
that's
when
right.
they activate an effect, like with the Gravedigger Trap Hole or Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. The new one, the terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare, a little different. But generally speaking, once the monster's there, you're going to have to get rid of it by some other
Yes, that is very true.
Whereas in Labyrinth, you're playing things that'll just blast it whenever you want, like Dogmatic Punishment.
Yes. I mean, that does make it so that the timing is very crucial. You can fall behind just because you get the trap hole a little bit late. But I do find the terrifying trap hole being one of the more interesting ones, as you mentioned earlier, because as long as your opponent has special summon something, you get to target a monster and destroy it.
Yep.
It does throw a lot of people off. And not only that, I mean, you also get to banish a card from the graveyard.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that can happen there. I don't think they're going to come up in this match. Maybe later on in the event we'll be able to see a little bit of that in action.
But I do love how the structure deck added another layer of disruption through Putica. Normally, we're expecting for Traptrix, of course, you're using mainly just spells and just trap cards in general to handle a lot of the monster threats. But adding Putica, now you have another way of just using monsters, and which gives Sarah even more power.
And I really love Pollutia.
Yes.
Being able to activate that the turn you set it, like Shade Brigandine, except you can fetch it out of your deck,
Yes.
is just perfect for this strategy.
Also, in the graveyard, you get to just special summon back another Traptrix monster from the graveyard by banishing. But we're now moving into Game 3.
I would say advantage Jose here, but, Jonathan was very formidable in that last game. I wouldn't count him out.
Jose's choosing to go first from what I just saw when he pointed to himself.
Stand by me.
I see an Artifact Lancia.
In fact, Lancia.
Scratch the field spell.
First one.
Pudica is normal summon. Go grab the field spell. That's Trap Trip Garden.
As one of the better openings for Pudica. Pudica being able to give you that addition, like getting the field spell to give you the additional summon.
We got Sarah coming up next.
Ow!
Oh, he's got the Exceed again.
Such a powerful play. This is if you want to do a Nibiru count on this particular deck, it's very difficult because of Rafflesia being able to
Get
basically
the
copy the
Gravedigger
effect.
Trap Hole.
Exactly. And then you just take 2,000 damage out of nowhere.
So right now, if he goes for the Rafflesia here, and he does, he's now safe from Nibiru. As long as Gravedigger Trap Hole's still in the deck. If he's drawn all of them, maybe not so much.
Well, that is a Time Space Trapple, I believe.
Yeah, Time Space Trapple is very good. Sets 1.
Set 2. Okay.
2.
Oh, the garden did
Oh, it
not
doesn't
provide
do
us with another.
anything.
Exactly, did not provide us with additional. Oh, Nibiru, here it is.
Tries for the Nibiru. And,
Welcome 2,000 damage.
yep.
Effect Veiler on top of that Nibiru. It seems like that is going to do it.
So what, 13?
Yeah, you don't see that combination very often.
But here it is. So let's check the stat line of these monsters. In terms of the token, we have the big defense from Rafflesia, and there is no defense coming from the Sarah. That's a Link
So
monster.
this token's only going to be like 1,600, something like that.
Not
whereas
very
it would have been
strong.
24 on defense.
But I wouldn't count Jose out just yet.
Okay.
Now we've got something to do.
Yes, I love to see this.
And I will summon Sarah.
Sarah's back on the field. Remember, Traptrix Guardian isn't just providing us with additional summon from our hand, but you get to banish. Does it have to be a Traptrix monster?
Foolish Bear?
Oh, to special summon back. So Traptrix Garden. You can banish one monster you control, special summon one Traptrix monster from your hand or graveyard.
There we go. That's how we got the Sarah back. So now we've seen the Foolish Burial of the Water Enchanters of the Temple sent to the grave, and we're going to activate that, and that's going to provide us with the Rite of Eremysir, as we're going to try to get there.
But there's a window before on resolution of.
Oh, but hold on. Remember, we did see the Artifact Lancia. There is timing, and
Yes.
we got to slow down a little just in case there's something happening.
Sure, that's fine.
Or no.
It's being allowed.
Right.
Perhaps he had verbally stated that it was fine.
It's okay. I mean, sometimes it's the slip of the mouth there.
That's fine.
And then I'm going to take another token.
I mean, that would have been huge.
And then I'm
Now we see the summon of the token. And we're going to place onto the field Fateful Adventure. That's probably going to lead to a Draco back, and maybe even the Griffin.
going to activate Faithful Adventure, search for the monster.
I don't know if the Artifact Lance is going to do anything against the regular, just the Sprite lineup or the Angler.
I mean, if your opponent is trying to aggressively use smashers against you, I guess you could chain it to basically make that effect fail.
Angler.
That's about it.
And I'm going to chain. I'm going to activate Angler. And then I'll chain.
We're going to see activation of Angler, and we're going to chain onto that the Griffin Rider. I believe there's going to be an attempt. Before that,
Yeah, so
they got
the
to.
Griffin Rider is a quick effect, not a trigger.
Yeah, so we're
you can't
gonna-
stack the chain that way.
He has to pass the priority back.
I'm just thinking about we're going to use.
Will the Artifact Lancia make an impact for this game steering?
That's fine.
It's okay.
So then I'm going
It's
to
fine.
Yes,
All right.
Griffin good too?
that's fine.
We're going to see the Griffin Rider summon out. That's going to provide a negation on basically any card effect.
Yeah, and chaining it to this was pretty good as well. Because for Time Space Trap Hole, which is shockingly not in the structure deck, and there are some trap holes that you have
Yep.
to get from outside. That is one
I
of
believe the
them.
last thing to happen has to be the summoning. It has to be part of the Chain Link 1.
That's what I'm checking right now, because some of them are different than others. But this is a when your opponent special summons a monster from the hand or extra deck, you can do this. So it does have to be the last thing to happen, and in this case, the last thing to happen is the resolution of Angler.
That's going to be very difficult.
So you can't even like bait out or force them to use the Wandering Griffin Rider in this case.
I'll attempt.
And we're going to take the two monsters and we're going to go into Sprint. But what is Sprint going to do here? I mean, we've already used one Angler. Maybe we still have one additional Beaver. Maybe there are some other nimble monsters.
Tokens at 2. That's right.
That's fine.
Ditch Angler.
And I think we're sending another Angler. Yes, we are sending another Angler. There's going to be one Beaver remaining. I don't believe you can summon
Yeah,
an
they
Angler
can't
with an
summon
Angler.
another Angler.
That can't be a good spell. That's fine.
And the summon is going to trigger and get a Draco back. A Draco is back.
I'm probably going to go back in
We're going to equip that.
Activate Draco back.
Activate targeting token.
Yep.
I'm gonna activate Draco back to return this.
We're going to return to the hand the second face down card.
And that's the one that Jose's been touching basically the entire time.
And we're going to special summon out Sprite Blue. Blue is going to add another Sprite monster. Oh my, this is a
Full field.
full field. There's the Sprite Carrot.
Oh, sorry.
And again, layer the negations here because we still got Wandering Griffin Rider. And the Carrot's going to come down next. We've got the full power
Gigantic Sprite.
Gigantic Sprite.
No? No, we're committing into it.
Yep. It looked like we just had to pause a second to wait for a response. Now this is going to draw the time-space trap hole.
Return it to the extra deck, and I'll take 1,000.
Will the Griffin Rider negate this?
Give me a moment.
I think you got it, right? It's probably going to check the text of Sarah as well at this point to see whether or not it cares about activation versus being used and see what exactly Wandering Griffin Rider does.
You return it to the extra deck?
Yes.
It's allowed to go through.
Well, that's probably going to allow
Right
the...
there on resolution of time.
Yep, we're going to see the Sarah, perhaps? Or if he activates the Sarah, there's a potential that the Griffin Rider could just negate and destroy it as well.
Now, do you take less damage that way if you just get the Griffin Rider off the field?
Wait,
Special
oh,
summon
nope.
Carrot.
Sure.
And now we get the Carrot.
Attempt to enter battle phase.
That's a lot of damage moving forward.
Nibiru over for 22.
Sure.
22, 2,000, 2,000 from the token, 2,000 from the Griffin Rider.
48.
It's very easy to forget that the token is 2,000.
Yes, very easy.
2,000.
Protection once, right? Or
Yeah, once.
And if you combine both of the sprites, it's another 2,000. I think that's
attack for 11.
I think this could be 8,000 damage. Over 8,000 damage, in fact, because Nibiru's 3,000.
25.
And I'll attack for 1,000.
Is that not enough?
2, 4, 22 is 62.
Apparently not. Maybe I did my math wrong here.
For Gigantic. Gigantic effect.
Good.
Go ahead and...
I would like to see how this calculates out. We're going to go into Gigantics right now. Now we're going to go into Jet.
Effect
Jet's going to use its effect to add a spell or a trap card.
Yeah, I thought that was enough as well.
Was there any prosperity play? That's always like the first thing to check.
Maybe the attack points of Blue and Carrot just aren't 1,200.
That's a 12 and 1,000. That's 2,000.
That's another 22, right?
We're going to see a summoner.
Yeah, I like this a lot better than the Bujinki Shemima
Oh,
play.
really? A Hashima?
I don't really like that very much.
But that's the totally awesome play.
Right,
Carrot.
but
Two special.
That's right.
I like being able to actually use this guy as material.
Okay.
Special summon Carrot.
Mayface.
Mayface.
There's 1,500 life points left according to this calculation.
Can I read your...
It's still going to be a very rough time. There is a Carrot on the field once again. And not only that, there's a Griffin Rider also on the field, which is live with a token.
And Jose should have been down 1,000 as well. He was only at 7,000 because of time-space trap hole.
Yes.
Use my extra normal effect. I will target Punika special.
Think.
Don't forget, you have to pay it regardless. As long as monsters did get put back.
Negate destroy.
Griffin Rider is going to negate and destroy. I think we're still stuck with the same two cards.
Yeah, one of them's the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, which is now too late to do anything.
And the other is the Artifact Lancia.
Which was too late to do anything last time.
Exactly.
That's really, it's so weird, going first and still being just a little bit too late.
I'll move Carrot.
That's exactly what you mentioned earlier, where the trap hole cards, they just can't come like after the board has been built. Even without the Griffin Rider, oh, he's gonna definitely go back into the deck to grab that Griffin Rider back, but we're gonna have to discard a card or send a card to the graveyard. We're gonna send away
Ibley.
Ibley. activate special summon out the Griffin Rider. That's going to be 2 negations now, and that's going to be game.
Kind of a stunning turnaround there. You think, that the Traptrix deck has all the momentum going into Game 3, going first, but basically just missing a trick right there. Not using